Here, so our neighbors quite well in our small room here. So, with this teach-in, I am a member of a group of Indigenous academics across Canada who have been involved in a group called COUT. It's the Canadian Association of University Teachers. And we have been corresponding by email since the Idle No More movement started in November. And we have held teach-ins across Canada, and I'm very happy that you have all decided to come today. We know that a teach-in is a practical, participatory event in which we are asked to move towards action. The Idle No More movement, as we know, was started in November by 4 women who were concerned about what was happening with our community and how we were being represented. And with that, we said that we would be Idle No More on this. So this has taken off, as we know. We have had support from around the world, including Sweden, Japan, England, Australia, the Middle East, and Germany, and the UK. So we have been getting a lot of support. And however, what we've also found is that there has been a lot of racism and a lot of people suffering a lot of discrimination as a result of the actions that we've taken. There was an article in the National Post a couple of weeks ago which said that only 49% of the Canadian public supported the Idle No More movement, and further to that, that about the same number of First Nation and Aboriginal people supported the Idle No More. So what has been happening is that with the advent of the internet and the anonymity of the internet, there have been some very scurrilous and some very racist comments posted on the internet. And in fact, on the CBC blog, they said that they were asking the public, what do we do about the stuff that is being written on the internet, because some of it was just very hurtful. And so they were reaching out for that. So with that, we know that we have had support from people. We have had criticism even from within our own community with the likes of Patrick Brazeau. And with what's happened to him today, I haven't been able to wipe the smile off my face. So with that, we'll start with Dr. Devine. And she is going to speak with us. I can't quite remember what the title is, but she told me.
The Royal Proclamation of 1763.
All right, there we go.
There we are. The great document that we should all know about. And I was very happy to be asked to be part of it. That's right, it's information. I've been really, really upset over the last little while, reading newspaper articles by various pundits, and then reading the comments afterward. And then I started to notice that there was a theme to many of these comments, that there seemed to be deliberate talking points to them. And I thought, oh yeah, it's the same groups of people that, sponsor robocalls. They have lots of money washing around. Disinformation, that's the definition. It's false, misleading, and or inaccurate information that is deliberately spread in order to influence public opinion or obscure the truth. And I believe that although there are a lot of Canadians that are writing in because they're genuinely concerned and because they do not understand the historic relationship between the Canadian government and Aboriginal peoples in this country, there are also people that are setting out to mislead and to demoralize and undermine this movement. Speaking of polls, there was an analysis of tweets done by Globe and Mail between Christmas and New Year's, and it was noted that 94% of the tweeted comments about Idle No More were either neutral or favorable. However, most of the comments following the articles on Idle No More have been overwhelmingly negative. So why the disconnect? It suggests to me that there is a deliberate campaign, and I don't want to go into anything, I don't want to go into sort of conspiracy theories or anything like that, but the fact is, history is inconvenient. The Royal Proclamation of 1763 will be 250 years old this October 2013. This has been noted by many scholars in history and in political science. And the fact is, this is an important document that apparently nobody knows about. We all know about the War of 1812 now, but not the Royal Proclamation. The fact is, the Royal Proclamation and its existence is an inconvenient truth that our current government would like to ignore. We have many lawyers here tonight, and I would ask them to feel free to chime in and correct me where necessary. So what is significant about the Royal Proclamation of 1763? Some of you may not have even heard of it before you came here. Well, today I hope to get through some of the things, the historical and political context of the Royal Proclamation, a little bit about the content of the Royal Proclamation, and the legal and political implications of the Royal Proclamation for Aboriginal rights in Canada. So what is a Royal Proclamation? This is a term that comes from British law. A Royal Proclamation is a formal announcement made by the British King or Queen. It is a declaration of law. This is in the time when kings and queens really were kings and queens. This is a time when the monarch believed he owned everything. And generally, Royal Proclamations at this time were issued under the auspices of the Privy Council. Proclamations were not open to democratic debate. The king would say, this is what's going to be happening, and it did. A modern-day comparison to a Royal Proclamation is an executive order by the President of the United States, if you want a contemporary comparison. So, when did we get this Royal Proclamation of 1763? We have to go back, way back, to the colonial territories of North America in the 1740s and 50s, where you have all the European powers busy fighting for their little piece of turf along with their Indian allies. And you'll notice the big blue swath in the middle, that was controlled by the French. This little red swath along the side was the British territory. At that time, it comprised what we know of as being the 13 colonies. These sort of browny yellow areas are Spanish territory, and the other sort of grayish territory is areas that had not been visited by Europeans yet. And you can see the area around Hudson's Bay. That area was under dispute because there are both French and English people in that area. So this is what it looks like. Why this is important is that you have a skinny little band of settlements with where the British are, and these settlements are getting overcrowded. People don't have any land anymore. And in order to vote and be a somebody in this culture, you have to own land. So they're piling up along the coast. They're hemmed in by the French and their allies. They're hemmed into the south. And the British colonies become seriously overcrowded.